So tonight, I hope you guys are here for Who's in Your Colander. It's Rethinking the Sales Funnel. I'm actually going to share with you how I sell $2 million worth of custom handmade furniture, one piece at a time, and who I sold it to and how I sold it and all that good stuff. So, and then we're gonna figure out how you can use the same kind of sales technique to sell to your clients. So here we go. So who am I? If you don't know me, my name is Candace Giardardi. I think everybody here knows me though. I specialize in helping micropreneurs, which are people who have less than 6 employees and do less than $1 million a year in sales. I help them figure out what they want from their business and define that and then implement it into their business. I am a self-proclaimed gratitude geek, and tonight I am the bald business coach. So I've been in sales. I have been in sales and marketing for 30 years. I started in 1988, so 31 years. It's all really all I've ever done. I love sales. I love selling to people, and I just, every opportunity I have to learn more, I take it. So I'm going to share with you everything I know, or at least as much as I can fit in an hour. So here we go. Okay, so tonight's objectives. We're going to talk about why the sales process is not a colander. It's not a funnel, it's a colander. We'll go over what the difference is. And then we're going to talk about how I actually use the colander process to sell over $2 million in handmade custom furniture on the internet. My customers couldn't touch it, feel it, smell it, jump on it, or any of that. They bought off of pictures on the internet. And there's a way you do that, and it can be done. I'm a testament to that. And then we're going to talk about how you can use the colander process in your own business. So, as I said before, this is interactive. I want you to ask questions, and I want you to add value to the class. So anytime you have a question, unmute yourself and ask. Oh, are you ready? Here we go. Now is the chance, your opportunity to unplug yourself, to unmute yourself, and let's talk. So what's the difference between this funnel and this colander? What do you see? What's the difference? Anybody want to give me some ideas on what's different about these two items? Oh, you guys are afraid?
The colander is much wider than the funnel is.
The colander is much wider than the funnel. That is true. What else?
In the funnel, everything will go through as opposed to in the colander.
Exactly. Everything goes through the funnel. The colander keeps the good stuff. Anything else? Any other differences?
It seems like a colander lets only the things that you want to come through, whereas a kind of puts everything in, and you might end up with a bottleneck.
Oh, bottleneck. Yes, you may end up with a bottleneck. And if you put too much stuff in a funnel at once, what happens?
Overflows.
It overflows and it gets clogged. That's exactly true. Okay, everybody mute yourself again. You're on your honor. All right, so in the funnel, everything that goes into the funnel comes out. And then with the colander, the good stuff stays in the colander, and the stuff you don't want gets rinsed away. You keep the good leads and you lose the rest. So that is why the colander is what we use for sales. If you're using a funnel, funnels are okay if you're selling. If you're the kind of person who wants to mass sell, and you don't want to have a personal touch with your clients, you can use the funnel method. But if you want to have a one-on-one relationship with your clients, the colander is what you need to use. Let's talk about the traditional sales funnel. I don't like the traditional sales funnel. I've got one slide on it. I don't really even want to talk about it, but we got to. With the traditional sales funnel, you spend a lot of money on upfront marketing. You do a lot of slimy sales tactics. You bring in your leads and you try to move them through the funnel and hope at the end that they buy something from you. The traditional funnel has 4 parts: awareness, interest, decision, and action. Pretty similar to the colander method, but there is one big difference. So here's my question for you. If you had ever been sold to through a funnel, how did it make you feel? Go ahead, unmute yourself.
I've never really liked the funnel analogy because it's a slippery thing that you don't really have control over, and you're just being moved from one thing to another without any autonomy. It doesn't require your engagement at all. it requires someone else moving you through the paces. I've always thought of it more like climbing a mountain. You're inviting
Yeah.
people to come to the next level of the mountain with you. It's about engagement. Like you're like, hey, here, let me tell you a little about the next level. And they're like, oh, I want to do that. And they put effort into it. So I don't know, that this funnel just feels forced, and cows get funneled to their death. So funnels don't always end up in a good place.
Yeah. Yep. So to me, funnels feel slimy. I just don't like them. So we don't want to take our customers through a funnel, and we don't want to take our cows to their death. I'd rather keep them around to milk. Milk is more sustainable than meat. Okay, so here's the story. This is what everybody's been waiting for, right? I want to ask you a question. Would you rather fill your calendar with a variety of prospects, a whole bunch of different kinds of prospects, or your ideal client? I know Robbie's answer. You really want people to buy from,
You know mine too.
yeah. You want people to buy from you that are, you want the people in your calendar to be the kind of people who can buy, who are going to buy what you want, who want what you're selling. So you want the people in your calendar to be pretty much on par with your ideal client. Now, Robbie, and if he's okay with me sharing it, Robbie actually offers a client avatar masterclass, an entire masterclass on your client avatar. I'm only going to cover it in 2 slides. But if you're okay with that, Robbie, I'll share it with everybody who came. You good with that, Robbie? He's not answering. I'm going to assume he is because he's awesome. So, but if you can answer these 5 questions about your ideal client, you have a pretty good idea of what your ideal client, who your ideal client is, and whether or not they're going to be a good fit for your product. So what do they enjoy doing or collecting? That's a really good question, because if you sell sporting goods and they like playing football and they like going to football games, but you sell baseballs and baseball gloves, they're not really your ideal client. So what is their income range? Are you trying to sell to a high-end client, or a middle-income client, or a low-income client? What industry do they work in? If you know what industry you work in, it kind of goes hand in hand with what they enjoy doing or collecting. You kind of know where you're going to guide what they're looking for, and that's not always a good indication of what they're looking for. But and the industry does sort of steer you in the right direction. So this thing, what kind of car do they drive? I know this sounds crazy, because you're not going to have 100 clients who all drive the same car, but you're going to have 100 clients who have the same values of what they look for when they're shopping for a car. And chances are those same values that they're looking for when they're shopping for that car are going to match up with the values that they have when they're shopping for what they buy from you. And then it's really important to know if they rent their home, or if they own their home, or if they have multiple homes, because that tells you who they are. Renters are different than homeowners, and homeowners are different than multiple homeowners. So if you guys want to unmute and give me some other ideas on what you think you personally need to know about your ideal client, go ahead.
How much of the discretionary income do they have?
Yeah, that's true, because that is different than income versus discretionary income. Because that is very true. That's a good point, Rashid. All right.
What about if they have kids or no kids would be kind of important to me.
Yeah, that's very important for your market too, Wendy. That's true. So yeah, so this is the beginning, and then you just keep adding to it until you can answer all the questions that you think are important for you. And again, I'm going to redirect you guys to Robbie's masterclass, because I really think that his class is going to give you if this is you really want to deep dive into, his class is going to give you that. These are the questions that I asked myself 10 years ago when I was defining my customer. So this is my actual sample ideal client avatar for my custom business that I had for 20 years. I wrote this in about 2010 or 2009, 2010. I stayed true to it. I really focused on it, and every question that I ever asked about where I need to go and how I need to market was based on this avatar. So they owned antique furniture because we made reproduction antique furniture, but they weren't necessarily collectors. They just appreciated timeless design and quality. They drove a Tesla. The reason why I picked a Tesla was because I could have said electric car, but I chose Tesla because it's top of the line. And one of the reasons why my particular client would have driven an electric car is because they were concerned about sustainability, which is another reason why they liked antique furniture. Most of our clients worked in the film and music industry. They own their own business, or they're a C-level corporate executive, and they earned about $250,000 a year. 95% of our customers own 2 homes. Most of them were in weird places like the Bahamas. They didn't really care about design trends because they had their own style, and they understood that quality. This right here was a really important line for our ideal client, because we made handmade custom furniture and it could take 6 months for them to get their order. So they understood that quality takes time and that a quality product is made from superior components, and they are willing to pay and wait for quality. So that right there was my client avatar. And how do you think I did? Do you think that I nailed it, considering that this is a list of my clients? Do you think that I nailed my client avatar? These are actual people who purchase from us. I think I pretty much nailed it. So that's the importance of knowing your client avatar, because if you know your client avatar, you're going to attract the clients that are in alignment with your avatar. So here is the colander sales method. Remember, the funnel had awareness. Oh, I can't remember what number 2 was. Decision and action. The colander method has awareness, rapport, decision, and action. So the R is the most important thing there. That rapport is what is the difference between a funnel and a colander. So let's talk about what that means. Oh, before we talk about what that means, let me tell you, the colander method isn't slimy at all. It feels like you've made a new friend. And we have clients who've invited us to dinner, who've invited us to stay at their home if we're ever in their community. I mean, because I built friendships with them. So when you implement this method, you're not going to be selling, you're going to be making friends. You're going to be building relationships. This is relationship-based selling. So before we get on with that, I think I put this slide in the wrong place, but we can talk about it now. What's really important to know is that you don't build rapport on the first phone call. It can take up to 12 conversations, 12 touches, 12 interactions with them before they make a sale. So everything I'm about to share with you isn't magic, and it doesn't happen overnight. And sometimes the sales process takes years. You just have to keep doing the gentle touches and the relationship building. So this is my sales process when I was selling furniture. Awareness. And I'm going to actually share with you what awareness is in a minute, but awareness is letting them know who we are. And then from letting them know who we are, I wanted them to come to my colander. So my colander was my blog. I wanted them to come to my blog. So everything I did out there in the awareness mode, the SEO and all of that, was to get them to read my blog. And on my blog, I had third-party validation coming out of my ears in the form of testimonials and media. My phone number and my email address were everywhere. They were on 3 places of every web page. Was my phone number and my telephone was my email address. I'm telling you, I knew that if I could get them on the phone, that they would eventually purchase from me if I could talk to them on the phone. Because in this world of cyber, everything's cyber this, cyber that, social media this, social media that, being able to actually talk to somebody on the phone is so rare. And we sold everything on the internet. We didn't have a retail store. They purchased based on pictures. So I needed them to know that we were real people, and that that we were what we said we were. And we told, well, I'm going to get to that in a minute. So then I worked on the rapport. I started the rapport process, and I gave them a free offer. So our free offer was that we would offer finished samples to them, but your free offer can be something else. But the reason why I wanted a free offer was to get their mailing address, because I needed their mailing address to add to the soft touch mailing. And I did that in the form of greeting cards. So once I got their mailing address and I sent them their finished samples, I followed up with a thank you card. And I'm going to show you that thank you card in a little bit. And then I kept following up. They would get added to our email list. They would get more, holiday cards from us. I would send out a holiday card, and if I knew their birthday, sometimes if you become good enough friends with them, they want to Facebook friend you. So if my clients reached out to me and wanted to Facebook friend me, I always said yes. And then I could get their birthday, and I would send them birthday cards. And I would follow up with other things like St. Patrick's Day, where it's so lucky to have you as a client. So that's how I followed up with my clients in a very soft way. And then we had an email list. And our email list was pretty simple. We just, we didn't do much. We sent out maybe one email a month. We weren't really hard sale. And this I touched on this before, follow-up can last for years, but you just can't stop. You cannot stop the follow-up. So then when it's time, you help them make a decision, and you walk them through everything they need to know to make that decision. They take action in the form of giving you their credit card, and then you thank them through the process. You thank them for their order, you deliver the product, and you thank them again. So this is my sales process. This is how I handled sales. And if you want to take a screenshot of this, go ahead, because this worked for me. Somebody just took a screenshot. Hey, Kwame.
How you doing, Candace?
So that right there, in a nutshell, is how I sold $2 million worth of handmade custom furniture. Okay, moving on. So again, the Colander method is awareness, rapport, decision, and action. I gave away the good stuff at the beginning. So your colander is where you share your story. That's why I wanted them to come to my blog. I wanted them to come to my blog so they knew who we were. And but you don't have to share your story on your blog. You can share it on your website if you don't want to blog. If you just want them to call you, yeah, I highly recommend that your phone number is in big letters on your website, on your blog, everywhere. Because when they talk to you on the phone, you become a real person. And if you want them to go to your social media site, because social media is where your clients find you, then direct them, then your colander can be your social media, but I don't recommend that, because not everybody does social media. And I don't think in the history of our business, in the 19 years that our custom furniture business was open, now granted, the first 10 of it, social media didn't exist, but I don't think we ever had a client from social media. They came from, I'll tell you where they came from. I'm fixing to tell you. So how do clients find you? Well, the number one place where most clients find you is Google. So do you know SEO? Do you know enough about SEO that you know that it's important? Google Shopping, if you sell a tangible product, Google Shopping is something you should certainly look at. Etsy, if you have a handmade product or a vintage product, Etsy is absolutely something you should look at. House and custom made, these are very specific. I'm talking about my colander. These are very specific directories. House is a directory for people who are shopping for homes and stuff that goes in homes. And custom made is a directory for people who make their own products. So you can find on custom made, you can find furniture, jewelry, stained glass, art. You can find all sorts of handmade products. Bing and Yahoo are a couple more directories. But for me, 90% or more, so between 80 and 100% of our clients found us on Etsy. That doesn't mean that they purchased our product on Etsy. It just means that that's where they found us. So they found us on Etsy, and then they did a little more research. They Googled us. They wanted to know more about us. And that is why the blog was so important, because the blog is where I was telling my story. And the other place where customers came because it was a tangible product was Google Shopping. But here's the beautiful thing about Google Shopping. Etsy did that for us. So I never really had to worry about it. I just let Etsy do the Google Shopping for me. And if I am speaking Greek to you right now, this is search engine optimization is another class. But you do need to at least know enough about search engine optimization to understand that it is important. And you can hire somebody else to do it for you. So if you're into doing things on your own, Ubersuggest is my favorite tool. You type in your domain or your keyword here, and it will give you everything you could possibly want to know about that domain. So if the only thing you take away tonight is that Ubersuggest is a great tool to learn about SEO for your particular business, I just taught you everything you need to know tonight. So it's ubersuggest.com, or you can go to neilpatel.com/Ubersuggest. Either way, you can get there. And really dig around, watch the tutorials. It is a fantastic tool. And it'll just tell, and I just have this screenshot. I'm not going to train on it tonight, but it's a great tool for learning what your competition is doing, learning what you're doing right, learning what you could do better, and finding keywords for your product. Again, this isn't about SEO, but this is a tool that you need. So where are you going to find people? Search engines are going to be how people find you, and Google is the #1 search engine. So make sure you're up to speed on Google SEO. But that doesn't mean you have to do it yourself. I'm just saying that you can't just put up a website and think that people, if they build it, people will come. That's not true. You've got to know how to build it. You got to build it right. So again, if he built it, what's that actor's name? What's the actor's name in that movie, Field of Dreams? I can't remember his name. If he had built Kevin Costner. If Kevin Costner had built a football field instead of a baseball diamond, they wouldn't have come. He built the right field, right? So shopping portals are another way that people can find you. Again, I wouldn't use a shopping portal as your colander. I would use the shopping portal to bring them to your colander, if that makes sense. Like, they found us on Etsy, our products were listed on Etsy, but they didn't buy on Etsy. They bought by calling me on the phone because they were spending $3,000 on average with me. So most people don't want to spend $3,000 if they don't know that they're talking to a real person. So that's the high-end thing. If you don't think your customers care, do me a favor and do a test. Put your phone number in your website for 3 months and see if it makes a difference in the number of orders that you get. Look for directories in your niche. So your niche is going to be, I'm just going to pick on Wendy because I know that she does balloons, party balloons. I don't know how to describe it, but if she's looking for directories, she's going to want to go local because that's not really the kind of thing that you ship. So she's going to want to look for like coffee news and here in where I live in, Robbie's raising his hand. Go ahead, Robbie, unmute yourself.
Hey there. So I had a question. I have been resisting for a very long time putting my phone number because I work from home. I have little kids and I have to juggle a very hectic, crazy schedule. I don't have an assumption that people are going to only call during quote business hours. And even if they did, that's not necessarily, like, these are my business hours. Like, I'm working right now. So how do you manage that? Cause like I always want to schedule that first call. But I totally agree with you. And you and I already talked, this. I agree that like having a Zoom call cuts through so much clutter and gets a more meaningful conversation to happen. And I have the ability for people to schedule a 20-minute chat with me that day on my website, or like within a couple of days if they choose. So if they go to my contact page, like that option is right there, but there's no phone number. And I'm on my email like nonstop. So if someone did email me, I'd respond probably within 20 minutes.
So Robbie he's a business coach and he's a speaker. So you have a point, but I have 2 words for you. Google Voice. Yeah. It is an actual phone number, and you can actually tell Google Voice when you take calls. So you can program it so it only rings when you want it to ring, and all the other times it goes to voicemail. And if you set it up that way, or if you can even set it up so that it just always goes to voicemail and just use it but having that phone number there on your website.
That's interesting. Okay, wait, that's really interesting. I could just set it always be a voicemail and then really call people back as soon as I can.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They still feel like they have the ability to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no one's ever said that to me before. Worth the price of admission. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are we even now? I think we're even now. Okay. So where were we? Directories. So directories, if you're local, look for local directories. And if your clients use social media, like for Wendy, I think Wendy's clients would use social media. So I think, Facebook Marketplace might be a good place for Wendy to advertise her balloons. She could try it and see if it works. But not everybody's clients uses social media. Mine certainly didn't. That's my furniture clients. My business coaching clients, on the other hand, they all use social media. But I'm talking about what I'm sharing in this masterclass is how I sold $2 million worth of custom furniture, high-end custom furniture. So, okay, next, rapport. This is where you create the relationship. So this is what we just had this conversation. You wanted to make it easy for people to contact you. So yes, your discovery call on your site, Robbie, is perfect. Having your email address there, a mailing address on your website gives you a level of credibility. If you work from home like I do and like Robbie does, having a UPS address or a PO box is just the same. As long as you have something there. And honestly, I don't have my address on my website. I just have the city and state I live in. But it makes it, then they at least know that I'm in Muskegon, Michigan. And then phone number. I have my phone number. I have my actual cell phone number on my website. And let me tell you, no one's ever called me. They always use the contact me button. But it's there in case it needs to be. And I'm talking about for my business coaching business, not for the custom furniture business. The custom furniture business, they call all the time. As a matter of fact, they still call. The business has been closed for 1.5 years, and I got a call 3 days ago from someone wanting a piece of furniture. Okay, so what do you put in your calendar to get people engaged and to build that relationship? This is where you share your story. When you share your story, you build rapport and you build the relationship. So, again, I'm a big fan of blogging, but you don't have to do this with a blog. You can do it on social media. You can do it. Well, the only way to do it on a website is a blog, but this is how you tell your story. So every time you launch a new product, you tell people about it. You write a story about it. And it doesn't have to be fancy. I'll show you an example of a blog post in a minute. Every time you build a custom order for somebody, you blog about it or you post to social media about it. When you're in the middle of doing something, like for Wendy, I'm going to just pick on Wendy, and I can pick on Rashid about this too. Rashid's a photographer. He could take pictures of himself, have someone take a picture of you taking a picture and put that as a behind the scenes. Wendy, you could take a picture, have someone take a picture of you when you're putting together your balloon bouquet. So, and just behind the scenes pictures, people love that. Every single testimonial and client photo that you receive, I don't care how small, how insignificant it is, needs to be used, because that might be the exact words and the exact picture that somebody needs to see to make the decision to buy from you. Talk about your pets, talk about your favorite recipes. If you're in a in a do-it-yourself thing, like I know that you want them to buy from you, but sometimes sharing a DIY tip they'll see how hard it really is to make that balloon bouquet, and they'll say, okay, I'm not going to make this myself. I'll have Wendy do it. It's worth it to me to pay Wendy to do it. Same with you, Rashid. Showing the work that goes into getting the perfect angle and mounting it correctly. If you show people how to do that, they're not going to want to do it. And let me tell you, we posted about a dozen do-it-yourself tip videos to YouTube on how to do our finish. And it did not deter from the number of people who purchased from us, because our finish was complicated. You can talk about other people's products, especially if you enjoy using them and they complement what you're doing. You can feature other business owners. You can talk about like I've been bragging on Robbie this whole conversation. I love Robbie, so I would totally share Robbie with the world. Talk about the community that you live in. Okay, so interest related to your product or service. So that would be along the lines of if I was still making furniture, I could talk about antiques. I could talk about antique shows. I could talk about going to an antique show in a restaurant that I ate while we were there, or anything like that, or why why or something really cool would be to talk about why antique furniture lasts as long as it does. Why is it that something that was made 200 years ago is still around and still in fantastic shape, but the thing that you bought from IKEA 5 years ago fell apart and it's in the dumpster already? I could talk about that in a blog post. So these are all things about sharing your story, and you can get personal, because the more personal you get, the more relatable you are, and the more people want to get to know you. And it also will push away the people that you don't want to do business with. Because there are people out there that you don't want to do business with. I can tell you that clients, when they called me, had done their research, because a lot of times they would say, I love your story. I read your about me. I love that you guys quit your jobs, or that, well, I was the one who quit my job. I love what you've done. So they do read that stuff, and they do the research. So it is valuable to put it out there, especially if you've got something to share with the world. Like the Bald Business Coach. So this is a sample, a super simple sample of a blog post. Of course, it would have a photo. It doesn't have a photo because my blog is no longer in the web. I went to the Wayback Machine. There's something else you can write, wayback.com. If you want to see what your website looked like in 2017, you can go to wayback.com and you can find it. So I went to Wayback and I pulled up a blog post. All the photos are gone, so there actually would have been a photo here. But this is an actual blog post. Notice that it is this short. It's 4 paragraphs and includes a quote and a photo. That's all it is. So you don't have to feel like you got to put a lot of effort into it. Make it simple. And honestly, I had a template. This is my template. I talked about who the customer was. And then I talked about the product we made for the customer with its features and its, what they're looking at. And then I put their quote in. This was my template. Every single blog post I made that had a testimonial was this blog post, but different words. And I always used search. This is right here, custom black furniture. Oops, sorry. This custom black furniture for Danielle in Austin, Texas. The custom black furniture was a search term. I Googled black furniture to see what was a search term that people were looking for, and that's what I used in the so there's a little search engine optimization tip for you. Okay, so this right here, what we're looking at right here, this is third-party validation, and I thought I had more testimonials than that. This is third-party validation. Third-party validation with the testimonial and the story, it makes them realize that you are not the only person buying that they are not the only person buying from you. And then if you ever are blessed with the opportunity to be featured in a magazine like Elle Decor, you make sure that that link to that Elle Decor article is everywhere you could possibly put it. So this article is in Elle Decor from 2010, and it's still live on their website. And I just pulled this screenshot. This is the bed my husband made. And this is another part of the feature that has a link to our website. So that's still out there. And let me tell you, in not even 2009, we got orders from this article in Elle Decor for at least 5 years. People would call up and say, I want to order the Elle Decor bed. Or they would call up and say, I want to order the bed you made for Badgley Mishka. For at least 5 years. So this was our number, after this article came out, this was our #1 selling bed. So if you're ever blessed with that opportunity, you make sure you take advantage of it in every way, shape, and form. Okay, and then it's decision. So at this point, you've introduced yourself to them, you've started to build a rapport, you've talked to them on the phone, you've emailed back and forth. Now it's time to help them make a decision, and you want to make sure that you love on them through the process. So you want your client to say something like this when you're done with when the transaction is done. You want them to talk about how they are 100% satisfied. So you want to give them a sales process that gives them 100% satisfaction. So this is my sales page, and again, the photos are missing because I used Wayback, but it had multiple pictures, it had multiple testimonials, It had my phone number. Notice my phone number. This is my Google Voice number. And I did manage to get the Google Voice number that had beds. It has a description of the product and it has more testimonials. Every page had, this is actually just the shopping part of the page. It's not the whole page, but every single page had testimonials, phone number, testimonials, phone number, testimonials, phone number, because I wanted third-party validation and I wanted them to call me. So this is an example of a sales page when you're selling a product. After they ordered, now I told you that we gave a freebie away and that was the finished samples. So after I shipped them their finished samples, the following day after the finished samples went out, I would send them this card. It has this is the front of the card with the 2 handprints. And then the inside flap is a collage of pictures of furniture that my husband made. And then this little note: thanks to ordering finished samples, we can't wait to get our hands dirty building and painting your custom furniture. This is the first card that they would receive from me. And it basically just helps them understand that we are real people. It's got a picture of my husband. The back of the card had a picture of my husband and I together. We are real people. This is real furniture. You're not, you know, we're not Amazon. We're not Waverly. We are real. This is a real family-owned business, and we make real handmade furniture. So, so you love on them through the process, and then you help them make a decision. And after they take action, you really want to be appreciative. This word right here, since you want to be sincerely appreciative. They ordered from you, and you don't want to take it for granted that they paid your bills that week. So service after the sale. You email them a receipt of their order, or you can drop it in the mail. I would often drop them in the mail, actually, because it would give me another opportunity to handwrite. I would send them their invoice, and I would write thank you and sign it and mail off a copy of it when they ordered, because they didn't get their furniture for 6 months in some cases. So when they ordered, I sent them a copy of their sales order in the mail, signed it with a thank you, and maybe put in a business card. When the order shipped, they got an email from me, and I gave them their delivery confirmation. And then when I knew that it had been delivered, I emailed them again. And then I sent a real paper thank you card in the mail, because you know what? If you send a real paper thank you card, your buyers will be twice as likely to buy from you again. This is a real statistic. And you know how many companies actually send real thank you cards? 3%. 3% of companies send thank you cards. So only 3% of companies know that their customers are twice as likely to buy from them. This one little thing, this one little tip, other than, you know, the Google Voice number for Robbie, this one little tip is right here, will increase your sales. So this is a sample of the thank you card that I would send when I sent tacky cards. I consider this card really tacky. So it had pictures of my husband and I, because again, and our daughter, I wanted them to know that we were real people. But here, if you look over on the left, it says, "It has been our pleasure to create your new handmade furniture. We hope your family enjoys it for generations. We'd love to see a photo when you have it set up. We'd love to see a photo when you have it set up." And then I included my phone number. All right. Do you know why I did that? I did that because we didn't have a studio. We had a shop, and we didn't have a fancy place to take fancy photos. We just took, and in the background of all of the photos we ever took were table saws and routers and all sorts of woodworking equipment. And then I would meticulously on PaintShop Pro or Photoshop go in and silhouette the furniture out. See how in this picture in the middle that there's no background there? I did that by hand with a little mouse, you know, scrolling it out. It would take hours. And that was all we had for pictures were these silhouetted photos that were taken in our wood shop. We really needed to have better photos. So the best way to do that is to get our customers to send them to us. And did they? Yes, this is not a great photo. This is actually taken in a New York apartment, in like a Manhattan apartment. And this piece of furniture is 90 inches wide. But do you see what's on the cabinet, on the top of the cabinet? It's that tacky card. Right here is that tacky card. So they actually did send us pictures, but I got better at my card sending as time went on. And this is the card that I would send the last few years. And it's a lot classier. And I actually have a better call to action when I'm asking for the pictures. So every piece of furniture Shane creates is one of a kind. I hope you guys are taking notes on this because this is how you get pictures and testimonials from your clients. Every piece of furniture Shane creates is one of a kind because each client is unique. We'd love to see how you added your own style to your Sheikah Studios chest of drawers. We'd be thrilled if you text a photo to and the phone number. And that's our Google Voice number. Google Voice does accept text with pictures. So Google Voice is amazing. So this much classier looking card. And so, so here's some samples of some interaction. Oh, I forgot to mention that we also sent caramels with our thank you cards. So they would get a card and a thank you box of caramels. So Jamie ordered something from us, and it was Christmas time. So rather than sending her a Christmas card, I sent her a holiday card with the caramels. And this is the actual holiday card that I sent out to all of our clients. And she posted it to Twitter and bragged on her caramels. And then this is an Etsy order. This is one of the rare Etsy orders. So I knew that it had been delivered because I got we used private delivery. We didn't use UPS or anything for delivery. We used delivery companies like a Blanket Wrap. They would come to our shop, pick it up, wrap it up, and then deliver it inside the house for them. So it was a door-to-door delivery. So they would call us when it was delivered. Somebody got a question? No? Okay. So I sent Mark an email, an Etsy message, how'd the delivery go? And he said it was awesome. He sent us pictures of the furniture. It's pretty similar to that other cabinet. And then he loved the brownies. So I guess I sent him brownies. So I think that we did a pretty good job of making our clients feel spoiled. This bed right here was actually shipped to the Bahamas. We managed to get it to the Bahamas. This is pictures taken in a home in the Bahamas. They lived in Austin. I sent her the caramels with a little note saying that we'd love a photo. She sent us about 10 photos and a little note. The only thing attached to the note, she included the photos in the email, and then this note that says, and thank you for the awesome caramels, they're gone now. That was it. That was her whole message. So I think she enjoyed the caramels and she likes her bed. So that's it. That's what I got for you tonight. Q&A time. Who has questions? I'm going to open it up. Oh, if you want my Google Voice number, it's right here, 281-826-2337. I'm going to stop sharing and open it up for questions. Who has questions? Anybody? Ooh, somebody's got a chat. Let's see. I didn't see that before. I love hearing your laugh. Oh, thanks, Joan. She sent that to me privately. Maybe I shouldn't have read that out loud.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say that so much of this is like super useful. Thank you. The thank you card thing, I've really been slacking on that. And also I've been struggling with how to get people to leave reviews, because like sometimes I'll run into these like barriers where like someone will like what I do, but they don't have a Facebook account, so they can't leave a Facebook review. Or, little things like that. But I want to, even if they're not on Facebook, still get it in writing and be able to put it on the website. That's not something that I'd considered doing.
So do you have a blog right now?
Yes.
Is it WordPress or is it some other kind of blog?
So it's a Squarespace. So my whole website is Squarespace. So I have a tab in my Squarespace that's a blog page.
Does Squarespace, I've never used Squarespace, but does Squarespace give you the ability to create a feedback page, like where they can submit feedback?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it.
Okay. Well, that would be
feedback
if you could do that and give them an opportunity to give you feedback, that'd be a really good way to get it. And then every time you get a testimonial, put it on your blog. Robbie has a question or input. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
I have a question, but first let me just say to Munita, so I really struggle with getting feedback, and So now if someone does say something nice, I copy it and I actually will message them through LinkedIn. There's like a way to have people add things to LinkedIn. I will get them right to that section and even paste in what they said to me, a snippet, and then I'll give them like 3 prompts and then they'll add to it. So if it can't get to your Facebook, maybe you can just build out having some of them as social proof on your LinkedIn. And then yes, copy all of them onto your website in some fashion or form. But it's nice to have it on a third-party place because it shows they're real.
Yeah.
So my question, I've now forgotten what my question was.
Thank you for that advice, Robbie.
Yeah, I'll get back.
You know, Juanita, this is for copywriting. Are you talking about for copywriting?
So not just copywriting. So I run a one-person communications and design like firm. So it's copywriting, copy editing, graphic design, basic web design stuff. So it kind of runs the gamut of anything that someone would want to market themselves.
Yeah, Robbie is spot on. You need to do that on LinkedIn. Follow Robbie's advice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you doing LinkedIn?
Oh yeah. I'm on LinkedIn. I've only recently gotten into LinkedIn once I started doing freelance stuff, like in the past 3 months. Before that, I hadn't updated it in like 6 years because I'd never gotten a job through LinkedIn. It had always been just word of mouth or, person to person connection. So I'm like learning a lot about LinkedIn right now.
It's changed. It's a lot different. I actually just re-engaged with it too because of Robbie. Not really. There was a couple of reasons, but okay. So Lori has a question. Do you have a good way to get email addresses? I have tried giveaways, etc. I also need to direct them to my website. Okay, so Lori owns a brick and mortar store. You're trying to get email? You're doing giveaways where you have a little fishbowl where they can drop in their information, right? She's not. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Lori. You don't have to if you don't want to. Oh yeah, she said yes. Okay, she's not gonna unmute. So maybe that means your giveaway isn't enticing enough. Brick and mortar. Okay. You want to be continually in their face. So rather than doing a giveaway, you could just say join our mailing list and know when we're gonna have our next sale. Because sometimes money talks. Or give us your email address, and that's true. You do a nice giveaway. But give us your email address, and you'll get 10% off your next order. Give them a reason to give you their email address. That everybody, doing a giveaway is great, but only one person wins that. But if you say you'll get 10% off your next order, or you'll get a BOGO offer or whatever on your next order if you give me your email address. And you email it to you say the only way you're going to get this offer is if I put your email on the list, and then you get it that way. That would be a way. Does anybody have any feedback on that? Any other suggestions?
I don't know what exactly you're selling, but I've heard some silly things that get people to convert. Like if you are teaching people how to make, let's say you read a blog post about how to make a bird feeder, and then you have all what you have to buy at the store, like written on the blog post. But then you have a PDF as a shopping list of those specific items. And you have to opt in to get that little PDF. People will opt in for that, or for like a recipe card. Again, like the information's on the internet, people like to be able to have the ability to save things to their own, directory, their own drive, their own, etc. So sometimes like you might be thinking too big about what you have to give away. Like it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can sometimes be like just like a simple 10 tips. I mean, my stuff's like, 10 tips, 8 steps. And then I started creating these master classes, which I know you've referenced. Thank you. And those have been that's kind of been like my calendar, I guess, because my ideal clients, the problem that they know they have, that they're willing to admit, is that they want to launch a podcast, or they're thinking about it, or they want to write a book and they want it to do well. So that's the part that they're looking for, that support. But what they don't really realize, that I realize, is it's an indication of wanting a lot more for their business, and like revenue streams and new business models, etc. So they learn sort of what the other options are by coming in. So don't overthink what you could give away. It doesn't have to be an expensive item.
I have an idea, Lori. She has a jewelry and gift shop. So what about doing a birthday club? Give us your email address and your birth date, and you'll get a birthday present from us. It doesn't have to be big. It can be, you know, like a $2 item or something, you know, something, the lowest price item you have, but, or even it's a coupon or whatever. But a birthday club would get them, because people like to be spoiled on their birthday. It works for Starbucks. Starbucks gets people's birthdays by giving, you know. She says, great ideas. Thanks. Okay. Anybody else have questions?
Question.
Oh, your question. Yay.
Okay. So what do you think about services like send out cards? Because I agree with you, the importance of doing handwritten, you know, paper cards. And then there's these people who telling me you send out and all those things. What's your take on that? And how
Okay. So my take on that is,
Hey, can I answer that question?
my take on that is that every single card that I showed you was a send out card in my presentation. Those were all send out cards. So that's,
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person that question.
I have the world's worst handwriting. And until send out cards came along, I didn't send thank you cards because I was embarrassed by my handwriting. And then after send out cards came along, I became a huge card sender. I had 900 people in my database for the furniture business. At the beginning, it grew beyond that. But when I uploaded the database originally, there were 900 people, and all 900 people that year got at least 2 cards from me. So, and that went from 0 cards to 2 cards to everybody in the database. So it made a huge difference. So yeah, I'm a big fan of send out cards. That was a silly question, Robbie.
Yes, it was.
Half the people here are laughing. Anything else? Any other questions? We got about 5 minutes.
Hey, Robbie, you need to talk to Candace about starting your own send out card account.
So if you'd like to book an appointment with me, it's momgeek.com/network. momgeek.com/network. That will get to your that will get you to book an appointment with me, and I will, like Robbie, I do a 30-minute discovery session. So if you're looking for business coaching, and my ideal client again is micropreneurs, less than 6 employees, less than $1 million a year in sales. So if that sounds like you, and I've also helped people launch businesses. So if that's you and you'd like some business coaching, you can do momgeek.com/network. Or if you want to talk about send out cards, momgeek.com/network. We can have a send out cards conversation too. Any other questions? No? We're going to wrap up early? Ooh, Wendy, you have a question? Unmute. Hey, there's Kwame's beautiful face.
Hi, we're in the middle of dinner here. Did you ever use press releases?
Yes, and actually I missed that part of the, so true story, I threw out my hip earlier today, and I spent 3 hours laying in bed with a heating pad. I was really afraid I wasn't going to make it today. So there were a couple of slides that didn't get finished for my presentation, and press releases was one of the things I was going to talk about. Press releases are really important, and they don't have to be difficult. They're super simple. And I actually do have a masterclass planned for the next couple of months with a former CNN editor. So we are going to come on and we're going to talk about together. We're going to talk about how to pitch to the networks and how to write that press release in a way that will actually get looked at and seen. So boring press releases don't get very far. But a press release is also a really good blog post. Anything else? No? No? Okay, well, that was really good. Kwame, did you have a question? He's eating
Sorry,
too. Wendy.
no, I'm good, but I'm just listening with one ear and at the dinner table with the other. So
Oh. Hi, Rebecca.
Say hi to Candace.
Hi. So I have to actually connect with Rebecca sometime in the next couple of days. I have a question for her. I can't remember what it is right now, but it's on my list.
Don't come here.
Awesome. Okay.
Thank you so much, though.
It was really beautiful to see your lovely faces. If you have any questions, my email address is grateful@momgeek.com, or text me at 281-826-2337. Text is probably easier. 281-826-2337. Or you can send me a Facebook message, either way. So, and if you have private questions that you don't want to ask, you can do that too. Facebook, text me, email, whatever. All right, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate everybody being here. That was fun. I hope it was entertaining and informative for you. Good night, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Good night.